Is it possible for you to share this file with us?
Yes, of course. If Miyako is agrees.
Yeah, sure, sure. We'll check with her.
And so, do you have a new file name every 2 weeks?
Yes.
Or you had, okay.
Yeah.
For
because-
example,
yeah.
this one I track the actual cost
On 6th
end of
June.
May, and I take the figures in MS on the 6th of June.
Okay.
So in 2 weeks, normally I will take, I will not change the first part, but the name will becomes
June 17.
no, May, because we are at the
May 30.
mid-month, so
Yeah.
we still have the actual part for May,
May
but
31st.
we need to change the forecast in MS.
So the file will become May 31st. Okay.
For example. Oh.
No, hold on. So let's say this is the starting of this month. You're checking the last month's data, right? I mean, year to date last month. But if you're doing it 2 weeks from now, you'll be checking June's data, right?
No, I will check only May because the closing is once per month.
Yeah.
You will not have the different costs for end of month.
So why do
But
you do it twice in a month?
because the forecast is always changing.
Oh, so it's like a revalidation
Yes.
that happens.
Because, for example, I transfer this communication to every project manager. I say that be careful with what you have spent until end of May. You have already, if you maintain on your requests on the forecast for June to December, you will overspend your cost, your target. So make sure that you review everything you have spent until end of May and modify your forecast from June to December. And we give them the
so
deadline.
do they know, or do you email them
Yes.
individually?
Yes.
You email them.
Not individually, but I send to each
There will
and
be
every
some troublemakers.
Because the
responsible
robot can do
managers.
that.
Yeah, I know. There's okay. So
So just a question. Why every 2 weeks and not every week or every day?
Because I don't have time to do
Okay.
it every week.
But I mean, would it be useful to do it every week?
No,
or
I
every
don't
day?
think so. Because the forecast is one work which requires a lot of brain also for the project managers, for the resources managers. So I think that here is the procedures. You see, first of all, we have the end of May, end of month. And here we are the D+4, it was today. So I have the updated with the end of last month
Yeah.
actual cost.
yeah, so it's
I asked them to do all the review, everything to modify their forecast in MS between the D+4 until D+10. And after that, I do work again on D+10 to make sure that they to make a conclusion on what they are seeing. And after that, I communicate to the management committee.
Yeah. Okay.
so the committee sees only the mid-month closing.
Yes.
Got it.
Mm.
So D4 to D10 is more about validation, reconciliation, correction, and all of
Yes.
that. Got it.
So
Okay.
it will be more or less the interaction between the finance, between the project managers and resources managers to make sure that they have taken into account all the results until end of last month, plus all the modifications on their forecast until end of the year.
Got it. Okay, so you copy paste that into the Excel sheet called Excel 03, and after that,
So that's why again, so that's why for the actual pass, I only update once per month because it's available only once per month. I will update it now on the D+10. I will not update it again, but I will just have to update the MS
Okay.
so you only update the MS Excel 03
every time. But after that, for the actual pass, I only update it once per month.
Sorry, why is that? I didn't understand that.
For the actual part, it's only once per month because you have finished the clothing and you have already the definitive figures. So I updated it today, but I will not update it in the next 10 days because the results are the same.
Yes.
However, MS is changing because the forecasts are changing. It was modified by the project managers, by the resource managers. So that's why in 10 days after all the communication, I say that, okay, today I log everything, I log on the status, and I will update MS again to see the new pictures.
So can you just show me here what do you mean by ITO?
By actuals,
Yeah.
you mean? So actual is a pivot table.
Okay.
So this one is called equal.
So actual expenses and labor.
Yes. So you will see here, in fact, it is with resources outside, external resources. So it will provide us every details as we want, because we have so many different.
Oh, this is the forecast, right?
Yes.
That's why you're saying it doesn't change in 10 days. Sorry, I was just trying to understand.
No, the
The actuals. This
the
one the
actual.
actuals, so it will not be changed.
The actual doesn't change. The forecast does.
Mm.
So the actual, once you have the figure for the month, that's it. For that month is the actual. You don't do it every 2
But I
months.
thought the reason why you sort of check again after 10 days is because not everybody enters.
No, the forecast.
Mm.
Because why is it? Because they may have not done their job in the previous months, so you give
Something's
them another
changed.
chance
If you go
to.
back to the yes, this one that you show at the very beginning,
Yeah.
and maybe just to show the last column. So, but what is important is to see, are we going to keep the targets that they has been fixed at the beginning or not? So once we have the actual for the month, so maybe in May you overspend or underspend, whatever. And as you have the column which is AD, this one is it's the sum of your actuals plus your forecast. So the month of May, it's the new one. So you have to review your forecast in order to see, are you going to keep the targets?
So the review of forecast happens 10 days later,
Yes.
but the actuals don't change.
The actuals don't change because we just closed the month of May, and the next closing will be the month of June.
Yeah.
So we don't have any mid-month closing. The closing is for the month of May. It's booked. It's closed. It's the cutoff.
But the closing of May happens in mid-June, right?
No, the closing of May, it's the first 3 days of the month of June.
So that's a deadline that they have.
That is the line that we have.
The questions
The
of the
closing-
project. Go
The
on.
closing is the financial, let's say, task. We have 3 days in order to finalize the figures for the month of May.
Got it.
One is done, it's done, and we start working on the June data. So your actuals are fixed. Then we send this report to say, okay, you have a new data for May. Check now the column AD, which is the sum of actuals and forecast. Are you still on the track with the targets or not? So then maybe they will say, okay, I'm overspending, but I do have some reason for that, and we have to speak how to manage the targets. But usually they, okay, I overspend in June, I will underspend in July, for example, in order to review the targets and to still be in the envelope that they have.
And so they do this twice a month.
They
Once
do
for the closing and plus once for the mid-month
They
review.
are usually waiting for the results of the day to see what is the,
The day
actual
or the
cost.
month?
For the month.
Okay.
What are the results of the day, and what will be the landing for the year if they keep the forecast as they did it already previously. Then they can say that, okay, I will modify slightly my forecast, otherwise I'm not in the target, and they will modify the system. They have 1 week more or less to modify the system, and then Minh Trang is providing once again the reporting. So they do the work only once. At the beginning of the month, they see where they are. They have time to modify. And the second reporting is to show them, you change your forecast, now you're okay. Or not, or depends on what.
So they only do it once a month. And the reason why they do it mid-month is because they want to see what's the closing of the previous month.
They need to see what is the actual, what happened in the actual.
Because they don't see it real time.
No, they cannot. Because it was booked in the accounting. For example, if they pass a purchase order, I would say, for example, they cannot know how and when it will be booked accountingly. For example, it can be in waiting. For example, there are some technical issues. There are some problem in the invoicing, so that's why they already forecasted 20 kilos of expense on this month. However, in reality, in accounting, they haven't received it. So in fact, they have to put in next month the
Okay.
forecast for the same cost.
So actual spend is what is invoiced, or actual spend is what is paid? Is it the AP or is it the
It should be the AP.
accounts payable?
No, account receivable. No, AR.
The actual spending is the moment on which you have the cost, whatever if the cost is invoiced or not.
Ah,
So
You
booked.
have the cost,
booked,
it's
yes.
already booked.
Okay.
Maybe will be invoiced in 3 months or
Got
at
it,
the end
got
of
it,
the
got
year,
it.
whatever. The cost is already in our accounting. So
Understood.
they wait for the actuals, and afterward they have time to review the forecast.
Okay, okay.
So,
So the only thing that changes between day 3 to day 10 is the forecast.
yes.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Okay. All right. So Minh Trang sort of copies and downloads from MSDT, pastes in MS Excel 03, and then
And then I do some modification
yeah,
manually.
I mean you change the
Mm.
some of. Do you have a list of things you change?
Yes.
It was the one that.
The red ones. Okay, great. Okay.
Otherwise, I do also a check, because from this one to my synthesis, I have one intermediate worksheet. It was on project MS. So it's the same thing, however, it got the informations from the worksheet MS XN 03. You see? So this one is actually take the I do not want to do it directly from MS SN 03 to synthesis, to make sure that I have one intermediate part to check everything before reported to the final communications.
But what does this check do? What does it check against?
Check it out here.
This is the interim one, right?
Yes, the check is here, so I have to check that. You see here. So I have to check on the data from the MSXN 03
Yeah.
is already done, is already well reported into my worksheet on project MS.
How do you check that? Sorry.
Let me check that. So this one is actually a pivot table. I take the data from MSXN 03, and after that I have to update. And if the amount here is equal to the amount I see in on project MS, it means that I already well reported everything.
Yeah. So basically, what she's saying is, I think this is a manual check.
Yes, it's the manual.
So she aggregates it differently and then subtracts it with the pivot table. And if it's 0, then that means you have everything correct.
Yes.
If it's not,
If it's not, for example,
Yeah,
this
this-
one, it means that I do not report these figures from MS is N03 to my own project MS, and I know the reason. When I put it in green, I mean that I know the reason.
so can you just go to the formula of column E? Okay, all projects. Check. B36. So where does the data for all projects come? All projects MS?
It's here.
Okay, so where does
It's from MS is N03. So in fact, it's the 2 ways to check.
ah okay, so and this is automated, right?
Yes.
This is totally automated.
But this is the formulas.
Okay, okay.
So everything is yes.
So what is the reason of that discrepancy in the check?
To make sure that I do not forget any projects. Because, for example, here you see that there
Yeah, but
is
why-
one
why-
project I do not report it to.
Why? Why?
Why? Because there are some projects which are not in our perimeters. It's not managed at the global level.
Oh, I understand now. So all projects MS is a list of projects under your functions. So the way, I think if you go back, I'll just sort of explain Paolo.